So the first assignment I was given was that they made me play 10 levels of at least 2 of 3 games. They said, okay, these are the 3 games which we are now, we are operating. Now for any one of the games, not for both, which feature would you recommend to change given that you have played 10 levels of this for you to either level up 10 levels faster or had a better experience playing this? And what do you think are the trade-offs for the game to do this for you? So that was my initial pre-face-to-face sort of submission. So this was mainly through LinkedIn. At that time, I was looking at different portals and this was through LinkedIn. But when I found it out on LinkedIn, I did try to find somebody who's working there to have a direct referral or something equivalent to that. At that time, it was mainly a lot of blogs, stuff which was there on the SVPG website. Now there is a lot more content in terms of videos on YouTube, etc. People talking about practicing interviews, and SVPG was very useful. And I think there were certain essays which were based on certain common product books, right? At that time, there were some of the most often repeated product books were hook, don't make the user think, etc. I didn't go through the entire book, but reading some essays related to that did help me. And at that time, this was very popular, at least in this sort of, or my friends who were in other product companies, they did mention that it's very common that they're going to ask you, what is your favorite product or which feature do you like the most in some common app? So I practiced that and I asked some people who are in that roles or who did interview, what was your answer and what did you say, how did that go? Then that kind of really helped me because they help you structure the answer in some specific fashion, and you also practice that, right? Okay, I'm now going to say that my favorite product was this or feature was this. So that at that time, that was broadly my core set of information. And what was also useful was a specific set of friends I had who helped me on, what goes on and stuff like that, who to help me dig out whatever I had in my career from, say, when I was a software engineer, how to at least present it from a product perspective or a business perspective. This was for a product manager for a gaming company, right? So the way a lot of gaming companies operate in India is that the product manager in a gaming company has certain specific targets, and a lot of the content which goes on inside the game is what the product manager is responsible for, right? And aptitude is obviously very relevant for a product manager in the gaming space. So the first assignment I was given was that, let's say this gaming studio is looking at so many games. They made me play 10 levels of at least 2 of 3 games. They said, okay, these are the 3 games which we are now, we are operating. You need to finish at least 10 levels of any 2 of these 3 games, right? Once I had played it and I had to confirm saying that I had played it, then they sent me another set of things to do, saying that now that I played 10 levels of game 1 and game 2, now for any one of the games, not for both, which feature would you recommend to change given that you have played 10 levels of this for you to either level up 10 levels faster or had a better experience playing this and be as detailed as possible with screenshots. What is that? Take some photos of whatever the levels are. If you required, you can go back, or if you want to play one more level with this feature, how would it look? What are the trade-offs in your perspective? And what do you think are the trade-offs for the game to do this for you? So that was my initial pre-face-to-face sort of submission. First part of my interview was basically them talking about this, right? Like, okay, why did you recommend this feature? What do you think are the trade-offs in that feature? And how would you want to monetize that feature? The next step was more of an in-person interview where it was, of course, like multiple rounds where they had given me multiple case studies, right? So one of the case studies was actually related to data analysis because this product role had a lot of data analysis where they said, gave me 2-3 different aspects saying that, okay, here is the game inventory of a specific gamer or couple of gamers. Do you notice anything abnormal in the pattern? If yes, why do you see it's abnormal and what is it abnormal? That was what I had to do. And given that we have established that it is abnormal, what then would you do to correct it, right? And what do you think are the possible reasons why this happened? Now, the next round was more of some sort of a prioritization round, right? Where they wanted me to prioritize based on some amount of problem solving, saying that, okay, these are 4 things which we see can happen in the day in the life of product manager. There are 4 problems for you to manage, right? And those 4 problems were some specific issue happened in the app. right? And these issues are, there's one issue at the payment level, there's one issue where somebody is not able to log in, and there's one issue where somebody is not able to communicate or complete a specific action. What would you do first and why? The next round, from what I can recollect was this, in terms of, okay, here is a game, week on week we make so much money, because a lot of the mid-core games, even in India and abroad, a lot of gamers play over the weekends, right? Because they're serious gamers, they need to play for 6 hours, and you have to pay to play for a lot of the games, and you don't get 6 hours over weekdays. So some weekends they started losing money. How do you arrest the loss of money? How do you diagnose it? That was part one. Now let's think of enhancing the revenue without actually having gamers pay for something, which is when they said, okay, what are the different ways to make people pay? Finally, I think there was more of a culture sort of around with the head of the studio, where he spoke in terms of, okay, this has been your background, you're not coming from product. What do you think you can do? Where do you think you will not do well? Where do you think you need to upskill? And what do you think you can add to the company because you're not in product? You will have a lot of rejections, right? So you have to go through the process multiple times to exceed. So the hit rate will be some percentage only, right? And if the hit rate is more than that, you are lucky or you're exceptionally talented. And you have to assume you'll be average, right? That's a hit rate. So you'll have to be prepared for some rejections, some selections. You go very far and then still don't make it. So you have to be prepared for that. The other part is, like I said, there were some friends who helped me because you will have to practice that, right? Practice certain answers, practice certain things. That's definitely there. And whatever job or company or whatever you're applying, make sure you try that product to whatever extent you can. I know that it could be a very core B2B product. You may not have the opportunity of trying it out. You don't have to, but figure out about competition, figure out about reviews of that product. If let's say it's on G2 or something, if it's a B2B product. If it's a B2C product, try to use it at least to whatever level, sign up, right? If it's a lending product, I understand you don't want to apply for a loan, but can you do at least onboarding, right? Or figure out from YouTube how people use a product, etc. As much as you can, if you read up about competition, the product and everything, you will have a lot more context, right? Which is when I played that game for multiple levels, that obviously gave me context in terms of what am I getting into, right? That's definitely there. That is something that will help you prepare a lot. And nowadays you have a lot of resources in YouTube and everything, right? Where people are doing mock interviews, product design, product case studies, etc. So those are extremely valuable. You need to practice a lot of it. And whenever I told to a lot of people on AdTribe who have contacted me personally as well, that whenever you talk about apps you like or what do you like about product management or what you don't like about product management, what do you think you bring to product management, make it as genuine as possible. And that can only happen if you have a genuine, thorough introspection exercise to figure out what are your skills where you bring to the table which product management can improve and you can bring and what you can learn, etc. And that has to be a genuine introspection exercise where like your close friends, family, wife, husband or whosoever your partner is can help you. That has to come out genuinely. And likewise for features and products which you like, let's say you like this aspect of, let's say, provide delivery instructions on, say, a delivery app, right? And why that feature matters so much to you. Let that be as genuine as possible. You should have tried it at least 10 times, right? So that if somebody asks about 2 things to improve, you should come like immediately, right? If I ask you what is your favorite food, you're going to tell me 3 dishes. It needs to be at the top of your mind. And that is going to really help you think about it and assume that it is a problem statement. You need to obsess about those things and it will help you solve those features as well. Yeah, broadly these tips is what I would provide.